What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Initio, and it is not one that I see on too many people's radar, but it is unisex. It is a part of the purple bottle line, so we're probably dealing with an intimate fragrance, and it might be something that you want to put your nose on. So strap up, let's go for that ride. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Today, from the house of Initio Parfums, we have High Frequency. I'm going to read you this little bulletin that came with the sample. It says, the combination of Magnolia and Almond, overtly so innocent yet truly sexy, takes you by surprise. Its effect is like a sound wave that starts off gently and then powers up the skin, or powers up the decibels on the skin. An overdose of Hedione, the key ingredient of the Carnal collection, detonates the final explosion. Intimacy scent. A lot of hoopla there. You know, they must have a line of poets that they hire to write these, because some of them are borderline ridiculous. But with that being said, I digress. Let's put this on test strip and on skin. You gotta love when these companies will charge $200, $300, $400 for a fragrance and then give you a sample that is so cheaply put together that you really wind up just not being convinced unless the scent, blows your socks off. I really hate the whole cheap atomizer game. I think they should offer, when you're charging north of $200 for a fragrance, spend the extra dollar or two, give people a 3 ml so they can have at least 1, 2 to 3 day wearing with it. It's an extra ml of juice. Throw it in some glass, make the atomizer, pop. It's just the little things that completely change your perception of spending a lot of money with a brand. I think the problem with today's market is people are fine spending a lot of money, but they're not fine spending a lot of money when they feel like any part of the buying experience is compromised by a brand not really caring about its consumers. They know people want to try these fragrances, and they also know we live in a world where it's not normal for people to spend hundreds of dollars on perfume. That is a small microcosm of how the whole world operates. We go to a Sephora, we go to an Ulta Beauty, or we go to a department store, and we spend less than $200 on a fragrance, and then we might pick up a couple over a couple years, but the average person has less than 5 bottles. So if we're going to go into this new market and blow up in it in terms of increasing our consumer base, we have to know that we need to make the buying process and the introductory process into a house and into a line of fragrances feel just as pristine as the end product, which is the expensive bottle. So going with cheap, testers and traveler sets and decants really just appears dollar store-ish, and it makes no sense when in the end result is you're trying to charge anywhere between $200 to $500 a bottle. I've never understood that. Give people an extra ml, make the quality of the addies just a little bit better. It's virtually almost no cost to do that to the company, and it completely changes buyer perception. Anyways, initial thoughts. I just wanted these to dry down. So this scent got a 3.88 out of 5 on Fragrantica with 1,250 votes. So a decent enough sample size, and people thought it was below you should get your nose on it. 3.8, for those of y'all who don't know, I think a 4.0 or higher means get your nose on it and at least try it. Anything above a 4.2 out of 5, I think, is creeping into mass appeal territory where most people will like the scent. This is below all of that. So now I'm starting to understand possibly why this fragrance doesn't get talked about. It doesn't stand out. This is a floral unisex fragrance for both men and women, launched in 2016, so it's been out a while. It's had plenty of time to shine. Price-wise, we're looking at retail is Sorry, I'm just looking this stuff up for you guys beforehand. I know we normally wait, but retail on this for 90 ml is $420, and you can get it around the $300 range without any kind of holiday sale. Just discount prices. You can get them somewhere between $280 and $300 seems to be the sweet spot for the large bottle. This is honestly so close to Gucci Guilty Elixir. I'll be interested to see if that pops up on the radar on Fragrantica when we look at the notes. It really feels almost spot on to Gucci Guilty Elixir. Sometimes I like to say whether a fragrance smells more niche or not. I don't even know if this is a niche upgrade. It's skin scenting very quickly, even on the test strip. And on the test strip, it gets a little rosy, pink, flowerish, still very intimate, airy, musky. Yeah, it gets a little more fancy on skin, but it's within a 15% range of Gucci Guilty Elixir to me. Let's go ahead and switch windows real quick here. See what we're dealing with. Almond, Hedione, Magnolia, Heliotrope, Vanilla, Jasmine, Sandalwood. Honestly, I smell all of that. If you're a fan of Musk Therapy and Pegasus and Gucci Guilty Elixir and Gucci Love Edition, men or women, or Mont Blanc Presence, this is right up your alley. This is a very white floral, kind of slight cotton candy-ish, almond vanilla style of fragrance. Very airy and floral, but just a ton of kind of vanillic airy sweetness that feels very slight powdery, but quite dense. Let's see. Let's just skip. It says moderate sillage and longevity. I can't imagine this lasting more than 6 hours. This is so funny. Pegasus, obviously, it does smell like Arm Off Craze. I mean, I hate to say it, but I want to be so real. Now, surprisingly, I wasn't a fan of Arm Off Craze because I thought they made an amazing scent profile, but just made it so sharp and so disruptive you couldn't wear it. And a lot of people would say, wait till the dry down, wait till the dry down. And I just couldn't wait till the dry down. It was just too cheap smelling. I don't know if it had to do with the batch or whatever, but I just really wish I could have loved that, because if it wasn't so cheap smelling in terms of its sharpness and its synthetic nature, Craze is even more sufficient than Pegasus because it just has so much more projection and punch. But yeah, I mean, they absolutely nailed it with the comparisons here. Gucci Guilty Elixir, here you go. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The dry down feels so generic, guys. Like it opens up seemingly entry-level niche, and then it opens up very much Pegasus-y. And then the dry down feels very much one-to-one clone of Gucci Guilty Elixir or Love Edition. Really kind of, on skin, I get a bit more of the heliotrope, almond, vanilla vibes, but it's so faint even on skin. The projection ramps up a little bit, but yeah, it just feels like a glorified skin scent. Now, you would love this scent as a dry down skin scent because it's generic. This is in line with your Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande on a cloud type stuff, but I wouldn't spend the money for this, guys. Let's go ahead and just zoom out and go over our usual suspects here. I got to get in the habit of using this screen right here. There we go, much closer. So, usual suspects, any season, any reason, with a slight lean towards fall, a slight breeze kind of fragrance all day long. Occasions, it's a very intimately soft, sweet fragrance. So it leans towards the colder weather or the breezier weather, but it's light and airy enough to give it a shot if you really like it. However, I don't want to get into too many details because I wouldn't recommend this. I think there's infinitely, every fragrance I named in this video is better than this fragrance, has more full body, and is most importantly going to last you a lot longer. I try to point out nuances in niche fragrances to justify potentially going up to a niche type of fragrance in a certain profile, but I don't get anything outside of what I get from designer, and certainly nothing more impressive than something like a Pegasus, which I think if you do want to go up in the niche realm for this scent profile, that is a valid alternative, as well as Musk Therapy. Musk Therapy leans on the florals, Pegasus leans on the kind of almond vanilla-y feel, and it's a little bit more powdery. But yeah, this is a letdown. Go get Gucci Guilty Elixir, point blank period, or Love Edition. Moderate performance on this. I don't see this breaking 6 hours. And for a niche fragrance, this is, as a scent, I can't even rate it because it doesn't matter what I give it. I wouldn't recommend it. I think this scent profile is timeless in the world today. It truly is dead ringer, perfectly unisex. And it's like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 scent profile when it's done correctly and it's balanced. It's done pretty well here, but the projection is extremely weak over time. And every other fragrance smells just as good of it that's way cheaper than it. So look back at all the alternatives. Musk Therapy, Pegasus. The only thing it's better than is Arm Off Craze, and that's just because it's smoother. Love Edition and even Drake's Summer Mink beats this. Ariana Grande on a Cloud stuff. So yeah, get the other stuff. This is not worth it. This is a niche failure in my opinion, because for a DNA like this that has been replicated and done so many times over, you would have thought they'd approach this with a little more emphasis on trying to be somewhat different, or at least trying to make the ingredients punch way crazier and be more 3-4 dimensional, so it's a heightened version of what's already been out. So this wasn't a creative piece, you know what I'm saying? This was literally a replica of previous work that has been out. Now again, it's been out since 2016, so some of the fragrances I named came after this, but the fact that they nailed this at a much lower price point is even sadder in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, don't recommend this. Get all the alternatives that I told you. You'll save money and you'll still get this DNA. Beautiful fragrance though. I just don't think there would ever be a reason to spend this much money for this style of DNA, because you simply don't have to, whether you have the money or not. This was Initio Parfums, which by the way is an amazing house. I love so many of their fragrances, this not being one of them. I do think you guys should stay with the house. I mean, there's so many things that are truly unique in the marketplace from this house, and they do pack a punch when they pack a punch. But this one is just simply not it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. Let me know in the comment section, do you feel differently than me on this one? This feels like I feel very confident in my opinion about this fragrance. Any of you who disagree with me, please feel free to combat me in the comment section below. I am not the Lord of Fragrance. I'm just on my own journey, and I'm putting a camera to it. This was Initio Parfums high frequency, and it put me on a super low frequency. So I hope you guys are blessed, and until next time, take care.